like that. And Timo, you can start sharing.
Yeah. Should I keep my video on or should I remove it?
It's how you want to do it, actually.
Okay, maybe I'll keep it if it's fine with everyone. I mean, if it doesn't need too much traffic. So yeah, thanks, Matthias. Yeah. Actually, I have one question. If I want to send you some message, should I use Slack or should I use chat in here?
So you can use the chat here now while we are in the in this session.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So let me share my screen. I need to choose the, yeah. So you see the slides, right? Say something or maybe send some message. Yeah, yes. Okay, cool, thanks. Because actually right now I don't see anyone, but maybe I'll keep this little window in the corner with your.
You can open the participants in the chat as separate windows, and then you can see if people raise their hands or if they write something.
Yeah, I should do that. Actually, maybe I'll come back to that. But anyway, so what I want to do today, even though it's very short, short time slot, I have definitely material more than we can accomplish today. But I was thinking that instead of this being like a boring lecture, let's do like a workshop. So I will share with you details how we will proceed. And the idea is that we focus on industrial search or like sort of real world search engines. So this is about me. I keep it short. So I'm a search guy since 2010. I've started working on search even before I came to the industry. I was doing more like research in this area when I was a student in St. Petersburg in Russia. And since 2010, I joined the same company, AlphaSense, that Matthias and I worked for 6 years, and I worked there for 10 and a half years. Then I quit and I joined a company called Silo.ai. I don't have this here, but if you're interested, you can follow me on Twitter and you can then crawl from there. I have some links. So, or you can reach out to me on my Gmail later if you have any questions. And also, as I mentioned last time, we have internships at Silo and working with different clients around the globe. So actually, I have one slide which is undone, as you can see. And do you see if I keep it this way? Is it okay? Can you read it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
So what I would like to ask you is let's work together and let's list modern search engines that you know. Any that come to mind. Anyone can participate. Matthias, Raul, and all students, please give ideas. Let's name at least 5.
So if you start with Lucene, what can you say about that?
Lucene. Okay. Lucene search engine, it's like a library, right? So it's an open source. But can you think about like
Google Doc
companies?
If you're typing, it doesn't show now, so you might have to
yeah.
You have to reshare maybe.
Okay. Let me reshare. Do you see now? Do you see Lucene? No?
I'm seeing a black screen.
Not yet, yeah.
Maybe I can just share whole desktop. Let's see if this works. Do you see now, Lucene? No?
No,
I think it's loading. I don't know, I see a black screen.
So we could see your PowerPoint, but we didn't see you typing in it. Maybe if you just share your PowerPoint window.
My PowerPoint window. Let's try again. What am I doing wrong now? Desktop. You see anything at all?
No, I don't understand what happens. This hasn't happened before.
See, let's try again. Maybe I have way too many windows open right now. Let's try again. Screen share, desktop. How about now? No.
No.
Nothing.
If you turn off the video just for a while, does that affect anything?
I don't know. Let's see. But you did see previously, right? When I launched my presentation, you see it, right?
Yes.
But if I go back to non-presentation mode, you don't see it anymore?
Yeah, because you had some
weird
full screen thing.
Okay, so maybe I use annotate in Zoom. So if I type,
maybe you can just show it in presentation mode then again.
What, do you see it now if I do it like this?
No.
Annotate. No.
Oh. Yeah, maybe you just have to go out and come back.
Maybe I can.
You have to. Yeah, now
we can see it.
You see annotation, right? You see Google.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and we see Lucine as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Because you typed that.
Let's continue like that. So I will use annotate, and you tell me search engines. Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
Go duck.
Go duck or duck go.
I don't remember.
Duck go. I think.
Duck go.
Okay.
Another is one Ecosia.
Ecosia. Can you spell it by letters?
ECOSIA.
Ecosia. I have never heard of it. What does it do?
I supposedly plants trees.
Okay. It's a search engine. Okay.
Now we have two in the chat. So we have Bing suggested by Sanna and Yandex by Markus.
Great. Bing and Yandex. I will put them together just to save time. Bing and Yandex. Awesome. Some more. Somebody knows search engine in Korea. But please don't use Google. Use your memory.
So the topic of today's lecture, right? Someone could suggest that. I thought it would be and what it actually is.
I think we mentioned AlphaSense, so maybe it's fair to put it as well. AlphaSense, yeah.
Is Baidu a search engine?
Baidu, yes, exactly. Baidu. That's in China. What about Korea? Somebody knows? No? It's a search engine called Naver in Korea. Have you heard of it?
No, but now put
yes, they do research.
Solar and Elasticsearch.
Nice, Solar and Elasticsearch. But I must say that Lucine, Solar and Elasticsearch, they are not like search engines. They're systems with which you can build a search engine. So they're like open source tools or open source code. So you still need to like load data into that, and you need to do a lot of things actually for the search engine to emerge. So DuckDuckGo, for instance, uses Solar. There is one more actually in University of Helsinki. There's a search engine. It's like called Flamma, but the search engine is inside this system, right? In Flamma.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Very successful.
Is it good? Yes.
No, I never find anything.
So you see, it's a problem. Like search is very like unsolved problem. And I work on a new search engine now called Petal Search. Probably you haven't heard of it. If you are interested, I will show it later, but you can go to gopetal.com. It's developed by Huawei, and it's like a web scale search engine, so similar to Baidu Google, Yandex. Google is of course the biggest on the market, but Petal Search is new kid on the block. So it has been there for 2 years. I think we mentioned almost all, except maybe one last one is Seznam. I don't know if you heard of it. It's a search engine in Czech Republic. Yeah, so it's a very specific market there. Okay, cool. So this is search engines. And since Matthias was already mentioning that there are some like open source, oops, I need to stop annotating. Open source search engines. I need to save this. Save this, yes, saved. And then I need to clear all my annotations. Clear all drawings, yes. Okay. So just real quick, can you tell me how many major open source search engines exist? So like Matthias mentioned, Elasticsearch, Lucene, and Solr, that's like 3. What do you think?
10 to 50.
10 to 50, more ideas? So I want to emphasize major. I mean, there could be multiple search engines, like many of you are doing it now, right? As far as I understand, you implement in Python, but like major is the ones which are used by the industry. It's okay.
So in the chat,
there are 5 to 10.
Dima, that's what they suggested in the chat. Sana and
Cool.
Laura. Yeah.
Yes, yes, very good. I'm glad that you suggested that.
And Martina is from the Czech Republic, so she said yes to the Czech search engine.
Awesome, awesome, very good. So, so I will show you now these search engines which are like in this major group. So Lucene, that Matthias also like mentioned, it was created in 1999. And it was written in Java for the purpose to learn Java and not for the purpose to create a search engine. But as a result, it created the whole industry. So it was written by Doug Cutting. And then in 2004, Yonik Seeley implemented Solr. So Solr is also open source search engine written in Java, and it's using Lucene as a search library. And it's offering a lot of functions here. We will not talk about them today because lack of time, but trust me, it's a well-accomplished search engine on the market used by many, many companies. And then Elasticsearch, it's another one which appeared in 2010, created by Shay Bannon. And he's also a successful entrepreneur, and he actually IPO'd his company a couple of years ago called Elastic. And so they basically create the commercial offering on top of Elasticsearch. And then other players on the market like Yahoo, they have their own search engine called Vespa, like a scooter, I guess. So it was created in 2017, and it's written in a mix of languages, Java and C++. But it's not as popular as Solr Elasticsearch, but I think it's accelerating in popularity recently. And then there are like smaller players like TypeSense. It's also open source, written entirely in C++, and they position themselves as kind of a search engine which is easier to set up than Elasticsearch, because Elasticsearch has so many configuration like knobs that you need to tweak, and yeah, they just say you solution. So you can also check it out for yourself. And recently, like I would say from 2016 onwards, there have been like smaller groups of developers who started to implement search engines in Rust. So Rust programming language. By the way, you probably don't see my cursor, or maybe you do, I don't know. But anyway, so TanTV is one search engine implemented in 2016 in Rust by Paul Mazurel. And then there is a new search engine, Toshi, which is based on TanTV, and it was launched in 2018. And it's not yet production grade, but it's getting there. I think Toshi means Shiba Inu 3 years old dog. And then there is another one called Elasticsearch, also written in Rust, launched in 2019. It's a team of 3 developers, and it's gaining popularity as well. All of these are open source. And then Sonic is another one launched in the same year by Valerian Silo. And yeah, so I also did a bit of check. So I went on Stack Overflow and I just checked how many questions there are on these technologies. And you can see that Elasticsearch is definitely the winner. It has like almost 50,000 questions, right? And 27 were asked today. I was taking the screenshots in the morning today. And Solar is next in popularity, almost 20,000 questions. And then Lucene, because Lucene requires so much more work. It's like a library. It's not a full search engine. And then Elasticsearch has like 3 questions. Vespa has 150 questions. And any other search engine that I showed here, TypeSense, Tantivi, Toshi, and Sonic, they don't have any questions yet. So nobody knows about them yet, or maybe it's very small community. So the reason I made this quick kind of research is because, and just to show you that when you think about what search engine should I use, then you kind of trust that Elasticsearch, if you bump into some problem, there might be somebody to answer or address it. But if I bump into the problem with like Elasticsearch, maybe not so much. Okay, cool. Do you have any questions on this part? Everyone is silent, probably sleepy as well. No. It's okay. So I've sent you a link now in the chat. Now I'm going to switch to more like a demo mode or kind of workshop mode. And I would like to work with you on a few search relevancy problems. So if you go to this link, you can register. It's very quick, very simple procedure. Just put your email and password. And then you should log into this system. It's called Quepid. Okay, bye-bye, Raul. Good to see you as well. All right, so let me share my screen and you tell me if you see it. Do you see Quepid?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Yes, so if you want to follow what I'm doing here, then please register in Quepid. And by the way, Quepid is also open source. It's created by the company called Open Source Connections, based in the US. And this system allows us to work with our search engine from the perspective of a relevancy engineer. So I understand that you covered the topics of TF-IDF and sort of ranking of your documents, right? But in the industry, everyone knows about TF-IDF, but usually there are problems like, okay, I don't see the results I want to see, or my users complain, what should I do? And there are like not very good tools to actually tune the relevancy. And Quepid is one of them, which is probably the best in class if you think from the perspective that it's free, it's open source. So what you can do is that you can create a case. You see everything, right? Just making sure, like you see this pop-up, name your case, right?
Yes, yes.
Awesome. So we're gonna work in a database called TMDB. So it's movie database. So let's call this case movie search. Okay. Then you press continue. And here you can choose whether you want to use Apache Solr or Elasticsearch. And I will choose Apache Solr. And you can also see that there is a URL here. So this URL is prepared by Open Source Connections company. But if you if you download Apache Solr yourself and you set it up and index documents into Apache Solr, then here you can actually type your URL. So it can be even localhost because Quepid can read from localhost. And you can additionally actually check that it works. You can click this little link, ping it, and it says, yeah, it's okay. If it wasn't, then it would show some red message that it's not able to connect. So now it says it can, so let's press continue. And in this dialog box, it actually asks me to select the fields that I want to display. So these fields are present in every document inside Solr. So every document corresponds to one movie, and movie title is stored in the title field. Unique ID is in this ID field. And then there are few more fields like overview, cast, and then poster path. It's like an image of the movie. And I can add few more. I will add vote count. So it's like how many times this movie was voted for. And another one is vote average. So basically there could be different scales like 0 to 10 or 1 to 10. So what's the average? And that's enough. And then I can press continue. And here I can add a query. So I will add a movie called The Martian. Okay. And I press continue here. And I press finish. Okay, cool. So what it did is that it created my kind of like case analysis called movie search. And I have a query called The Martian. That's the movie. And you can see that there are 87,357 results. And there is this little frog telling me that I have unrated results. But let me first open this. So here you can see that for my query, The Martian, it returned the first movie called My Favorite Martian. And the second one is Tom and Jerry Blast Off to Mars. The third one is War of the Worlds 2, The Next Wave, The Great Martian War, and so on. But I don't see the movie The Martian. Have you seen the movie? I really like this movie, but I don't see it here. So I'm kind of like dissatisfied with this result. And so what I can do is that I can go and rate these movies. So I can basically, being like a content engineer or a person who is like deep in the domain, I can know that, yeah, my favorite Martian is probably, actually one other thing, sorry, I need to select a scorer with which I will assess the quality of my results, and I will select DCG. So DCG stands for discounted cumulative gain, and it's computed for the first 10 results for each query. You can Google for the formula, but I will not explain it right now because just in the interest of time. But the intuition behind this formula is that it favors, if there is a movie with high rating, then it should be on top. If it's like somewhere below, then there is a penalty, and this formula produces a smaller number, and we want it to be higher. Okay, so I select it here, and now as a result, I will have more options here. So when I rate a movie, I can say that it's poor, so it means that it's completely bad result. Fair, it's kind of not so good, but okay, I can tolerate it. Good, so it seems to be relevant, but maybe not the one I was looking for. And perfect, it's like a perfect result. So I don't see a perfect now. So maybe I haven't seen my favorite Martian. Maybe it's related to Mars, who knows, but maybe let's give it a fair. Tom and Jerry Blast Off to Mars. Depends on the audience. I'm not the audience, so maybe it's kind of poor result for this. War of the Worlds 2. I have never seen this movie, no idea. Let's give it a fair, maybe. The Great Martian War, no idea, maybe poor. This doesn't look relevant to me at all. And by the way, you can disagree. So if you disagree, I will try to change it, but I don't know if this movie is good. Okay, and now you can see that what it did here is that it computed the DCG value. So DCG at 10, it computed as 1.50. So we still keep the frog here. The frog stays here until I annotate all of my results. So let's annotate this and this. Maybe I'm just going like to save all poor for now. But I think the frog will not go away because I will have to like manually annotate this many results. I don't have, oh, it actually went away. Okay, so it's for the first screen. Cool, awesome. That's what I wanted. All right, can you give me more movies that you wanna see? Are you guys there?
There is a suggestion, Titanic.
Titanic. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Marcus. Let's put Titanic. Okay. Let's take a look at Titanic. 62 results, and Titanic sinks in real time. I don't know. Is it a relevant one? Marcus, what do you think? You can use your mic if you can, just say, so I don't have to switch to the chat. Do you think it's relevant?
Maybe it's fair because it's somehow related, but not exactly what we're looking for.
Okay, yep. Agree. Raise the Titanic. Do you think it's fair, more like fair, or is it good?
Probably fair or poor.
Okay, maybe even poor. Let's put poor. Inside Titanic. So it's like, if you are interested in Titanics in general, so maybe this is okay, but it's not the movie, right? It's not the movie, but this is the movie, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's put perfect here. So, but you can see that the perfect movie ranks number 6. It's not good. I mean, we want to put it like closer to the top. So
I don't actually think that's the right movie. It's not the Titanic. It's not the 1997. It's a Titanic, but I don't think it's the same one. It has the different actors and everything.
Let's put good maybe, because it's kind of close, but not the one which we are after, right? Yes, I agree. There is another one like Titanic, The Final Word with James Cameron, but like, I don't think it's the Titanic itself. So kind of fair, but it's more like for fans, whatever. So there is no Titanic here actually. So we can say maybe all of these results are kind of poor, just to penalize them and say, yeah, I don't like this. This is not a good search engine. I'm frustrated as a user. So, but still, I think it computed. What happened here? Poor. Yeah. It still says 2.38, right? Okay, let's work off of these cases. And what we're gonna do is tune the relevance. So you can click this button. If you logged into this system, you can click this button, tune relevance. And it opens this sidecar kind of box where I can tune the relevance. So basically I am a search relevancy engineer and this is my daily job. So I need to tune something. So, okay, how can we tune this? At this point, you need to know a little bit about Solr. Maybe not a little bit, but something more, but it might look a bit like magic for you, but trust me, this is kind of like learnable stuff. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to modify my query. And when I say I modify my query, you should think of it as modifying the search algorithm. So I'm modifying my search algorithm to achieve better results. And so what I did here is that I inserted some magic parameter which defines a new parser for my queries called edges max in Solr. And then I say that I want to boost my documents by vote count. If you remember, each movie has like a vote count and vote average. So here, one user voted 10. It's probably from 1 to 10. And then here, 41 users voted something with an average 5.5. So they sort of like in the middle. And I will basically multiply the score of each of these movies by the vote count. So basically I'm saying if this movie was voted for a lot of times, then maybe it deserves my attention, right? Okay, so let's do it. And what we'll do is that, how do we test this? We can rerun the searches. So we just rerun them here. Okay, what happened? Now look here. Titanic, which was voted for almost 17,000. Is this the right one?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the right one.
Okay, so it's at the top now, which is awesome, right? Let's also check for the moment the Martian case. What happened here? We still don't see the Martian up there. So, but we do see some interesting movies like Inception and Interstellar, but not the one we are looking for. Do we see it at all? No, we don't. Okay, we'll come back to that case. So let's work through Titanic. So if you remember, DCG was 2 something, right? But now it kind of dropped. Why did it drop, even though the result is the good result is at the top? The reason is because of this frog. So we have some unrated results. So we haven't rated this before. We didn't tell Quepid that this movie is actually perfect, right? And then this movie is probably not relevant. This movie, I'm not sure, maybe we can give it a fair, right? So we need to annotate still, we need to rate them. Doctor Who, probably poor. You may disagree, by the way, I'm just doing it for the sake of example that I haven't seen these movies and so I have no opinion, but I will just rate them as poor for now. And this one is a 2, we rated it before. And Cavalcade, I no idea. Okay. So now see what we did is the metric rose, right? So now it's 8.45, right? So basically we improved our search results for the Titanic case. So what we can do here is that we can save this result and we can say the baseline. So let's save it. Take a snapshot. Okay. Takes a minute or so. If you have more movie ideas, please send them in the chat. I can add more movies. Actually, I can add maybe Terminator and Forrest Gump. So we can take a look at them later as well. So now I saved my work. So I don't want to lose my work as a relevancy engineer. I want to have my life after work as well. So I saved it and I will come back to it maybe later. But let's try to fix the Martian case. I mean, it's still not necessarily good. So how can we do it? What we can do is, we can add one more magic parameter in Solr. It's called minimum should match. And it means that how many of the query words should appear in the movie title or description. So here I'm saying 100%. So all of the words should or must appear. So let's see if this changes anything at all. let's see. Okay, something happened here. Okay, let's see. Let's close this box and let's go inside the Martian. Ooh, the Martian is at the top. Okay, awesome. So we improved our search. Let's also rate this to make sure that Quepid remembers that this is the best movie for this search, right? And then we can still rate the movies that don't sort of fall into the same category. So we can say, maybe this is a poor result. This is another one. Space Invaders, maybe a fair. It says a crew of Martians, so maybe it's interesting. And Martian Land, maybe it's good, who knows? Okay. Okay, so now what I can do is, if I'm moving day by day, improving the relevancy or working on it, I need to prove to myself that I'm moving in the right direction. And so I can compare between snapshots. So basically now I'm going to compare the previous state of my relevancy algorithm with the current state. And so let's do that. So here you can see that for Martian, it was like unknown. It was 0 or unknown. We didn't know, like our algorithm didn't kind of work correctly. And now it's 9, DCG equals 9. So we greatly improved it. And for Titanic, it stayed the same, which means that we didn't degrade the algorithm quality for Titanic, which is good, Now I can undo this diff and let's put more movies. Can you give more examples? What you want to try? Maybe we can put Forrest Gump. Okay. Let's see what happened here. Oh yeah, Forrest Gump is at the top. Nice. So our algorithm still holds some water. But this one is probably not good. This one is not good. But again, there are only 3 results in the database for Forrest Gump. So the perfect one is at the top. So we're happy. Do you have more ideas that you want to put? More
Use
movies?
some really general words. Like, I mean, Forrest Gump is very, both Forrest and Gump are quite specific. So
That's
is there
true.
some movie with just some very ordinary name?
Cider House Rules.
Can you type it, please?
Yeah.
Cider House Rules. Wow. Let's see. Does this database have it? It does. 1 result. Is it perfect? Yeah, it is. But it's only 1, so it's kind of unfair. But you know, like if we didn't do our latest change in the algorithm, let's see if only vote count will be able to work with it. But the question is, of course, oh yeah, it brought now like more than 4,000 results, and they are not perfect, but you do get a Harry Potter. Harry Potter is nice, why not? But the thing is that it's not relevant here. Yeah, and I think that movie is now gone from the list. So as you can see, our sort of...
Home Alone, you could try that. Those are quite common words.
Can you type it, Matthias?
Home Alone.
Home Alone, yeah. Home Alone, exactly. Home Alone. Great movie. Okay. Almost 7,000 results. Let's see. The Lord of the Rings is at the top. Was there somebody alone in this movie? Maybe, I'm not sure. Whatever. So yeah, let's come back to our algo parameter. And let's see what happens to Home Alone. The Martian, yeah, I can agree he was alone. He was alone on the Mars, but yeah, it's not the movie. Oh, but it's now number 3. Oh, no, number 5. Oh, we're not doing great here. Okay, so Martian, I can say fair, but it's only because I'm biased. I love this movie. I know that he was alone until he was rescued. Gravity, I'm not sure. Has anybody seen it? Was anybody alone there? Okay, maybe it's...
Yes, very alone, definitely.
Very alone, okay. So it's kind of like Home Alone. Was he home?
Not home, in space.
This one, I don't know. I have never seen this movie. Poor, sorry. And probably somebody was alone there in a labyrinth. Home Alone, it's a perfect. I want to see this movie at the top. This is a little bit slow, you might notice, because a US server, and maybe it's not the biggest server, but eventually it will work. Home Alone 2, I think it's also perfect. Would you agree? It's kind of like the same movie, just sequel, right? So we can say maybe it's good. Oh, actually not good, perfect. Hugo, I'm not sure. Haven't seen it. There are so many movies I haven't seen. I should watch something. Paddington, I have seen. I don't think he was alone, but maybe fair. This one, I don't know. Home Alone 3, that's also perfect. Okay. So how can we improve this? Any ideas? What can we do? What we can try here is we can basically boost the title hits. So when I say boost, it means that if these words in our query occur in title of that movie, then that movie will get a higher score. And how it will get a higher score? Its score will be multiplied, its base score will be multiplied by 2.0. Okay. And maybe I will remove vote count for now, because I don't know what's the effect it will have. So let me run the searches. Oh, something happened positive in Home Alone. Let's see. Yeah, we got Home Alone at the top. That's what we wanted. And Home Alone 3, Home Alone 4 is also perfect. Maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe not, because it's a different actor, right? Maybe it's not perfect. Maybe it's good. And this one, I don't think it's the original. Oh, like it's some kind of remake, probably. 8-year-old Finn is terrified to learn his family is relocated from sunny California to Maine. Okay. My sister's kids home alone. Nah. Probably fair, but not the one I wanted. This one, not the one. Not this one either. So we can just say poor to this, right? A movie called Sami. And another one alone, maybe poor. Okay. Cool. So we just improved our searches, and let's compare still to the baseline just to make sure we didn't regress, or maybe we didn't regress too much. Let's see. It takes a bit of time because it needs to like pull all this data from database, and yeah, something happened here now. It didn't work. Okay, it's stuck. I think it's still doing something. Yep. Nah, I think it didn't work. It probably just, yeah, queued all my different button clicks, and I'm too fast and it's just not able to respond. But anyway, we can see that DCG wise, we are improving on all our movies, and that's cool. So basically we can say, yeah, we succeeded today. We can go grab a cup of coffee, whatever. And that's nice. Okay, so basically this is the tool that is used in the industry a lot by a number of search engine companies. And it helps you to sort of treat the relevancy tuning as the process, as a repeatable process. And you can also prove to yourself and your colleagues and your boss that, yes, improved, or maybe not, or kind of in terms of this, but all. Silence. Anybody be brave? What? Would you like more movies?
I was thrown out for a while. I hope it didn't affect the recording.
Okay.
But now I'm back. So can you say anything about like how is this rescoring? How does it happen? I mean, or how much data do you need to improve on the? Yeah.
I mean, it's a fair question. I think I would say there are no limits here, and in fact, this system also supports teams, so you can invite more people to help you. And usually, what you do in the companies is that you'll invite content specialists, so people who actually know a thing or two about the domain. Here, I was just rating movies. It was kind of maybe easy, maybe not so easy, but there are some domains like financial domain where if you don't have the knowledge, then you cannot do it yourself as a relevancy engineer. So you need external help. And so create a team and invite people. And then to your question, Matthias, like how many movies I would need to have, I would say it's like process. You start small and usually you aim to rate maybe, let's say 30, 50 documents by case. So I mean by query, because with different filters, with different parameters in your search engine, users can see different results even for the same query, right? Because I could say, okay, I want to select all movies that have Home Alone somewhere in the text, but also I will limit by vote count. And so that will be like a feature in my UI where I can say this parameter, tweak these parameters. And so then you will see different set of movies, and then you to like redo the rating cases that are not performing well. So I would say it's more like query by query rather than how many you need to rate. But my recommendation is to at least 30. Yeah, that's what I did. And that was, I think it was quite good for the company I did it for.
What are the features that are being tweaked? I mean, so is it like words, terms that occur in the document, or?
Yeah, that's a great question as well. And let's see if we can see something here. So just a background here in this debug view, I can see what happened to my words. So like home and loan, and the final score is 13.56 if we round, and it's components, and it's like a formula. You would write it down, you create a formula out of, and here it is that it found part, and then there is a boost which I applied, which is just a number that I multiply with, and so it's 2, right? And so here it's kind of relatively simple. It computes these features, like very known features like term frequency, inverse document frequency, and some other parameters that are like preset. But what you can do usually is if you click on this link on the movie itself, you can view the document. And when you click this button, it will open Solr itself. Do you see Solr output? Do you see this XML?
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. And so here What you see, or what you need to sort of understand, is that Solar found like one result because I only wanted to see that one movie, Home Alone. And in this document, in Solar, I have different fields. As I was mentioning before, we have an ID field. It's just a unique identifier. We have title, which is Home Alone. And then we have a number of features that we pre-computed during indexing time. So we have computed some idioms. So maybe there is a dictionary of idioms. It didn't do much. It just kept it the same. And then there is a field for text portion. So that's like an overview of the movie, that text. And what it did here, it actually extracted the people names, right? So it like extracted these named entities. And we could use this feature as well. And that purely depends on, the query. So for instance, if our query contains not the movie title, but a person name, like, I don't know, Hillary Wolf, like this person's name, then there's no reason to search for this name in the title because the probability that there is a movie called Hillary is very low. And so instead of searching in the title and boosting by title, we could use this as a feature. So we would run like a tagger first to know, okay, is this a person name? Yes. Then we use a different algorithm where we boost text field by some number if it happens to have this person's name, because we pre-tagged it in the indexing, right? Oh, there could be more fields that we could use. There is a tagline field. And so I think it's like a short description of the movie, right? Like so very condensed. And so it might contain some signal there as well, which we could reuse in the relevancy. So, if we are looking for comedies, then here we can see that maybe the annotators of the original data set, TMB, they have put genre here. And so we can use that genre if we happen to detect it in the query with this field. And so we will tag it, we will boost it by some number as well. So basically this is another feature we could use, and this is solely based on term.
But do we need to tell the system which fields we are working on, or can it discover it by itself?
It cannot Quepid. Quepid is like a sort of manual. So if I let's say work with, I'm going to do now. See it on the screen. It doesn't Solar, and that's, you can see it here. Playing with it, so I can say tagline, and then boost it by, I don't know, some figure, right? And this process is kind of manual, but if you are interested in automating this process, then I can recommend to you a open source library which runs a genetic algorithm. I'm not sure if I'm using the right term, but basically it will iterate through different values in the space that you define. So it's very similar to machine learning algorithm configuration, where you define the spaces where your hyperparameter tuning is running. And so you can call it like hyperparameter tuning for search. And so that library can find the optimal values for these parameters, but the parameters themselves, you need to define yourself. You cannot, the system cannot discover them, not yet. Maybe code now. You can list all of check, of course, more bounce the bound for the values, then it will take longer to rate your documents, right? Because this document is written or not. And by the way, there is also a solution. Go on Amazon.com and they buy something. That's a very strong signal that this was a relevant result for them, for that query. And so from that information, from the data set, you can build a machine learning based relevancy formula, which is, and this approach is called learning to rank. But even without that fanciness, you can still control the relevancy manually. First, you need to get a sort of your own understanding and intuition, develop intuition into, you know, how, what is a relevant search, what is not relevant search result, right? So it's good to get your own intuition, because in the end of the day, even if it's a machine learning algorithm, you still want to be able to prove to yourself and your users that yes, it's a fair ranking algorithm. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a human plus computer symbiosis there. Yeah. Okay. So I think that I can close this one. We have like at the top of the hour. Do you have any questions? I mean, if you have any questions on this material, or any other questions like on how search works in the industry, yeah, you can ask anything. Was it too novel? Was it too new? Was it overwhelming? Or was it too simple?
So how much have you used this Quepid yourself? Quepid,
yeah.
How did you pronounce it? Quepid.
Quepid, yeah, I've used Quepid for almost a year at AlphaSense, and what I was doing with it is that first I onboarded the content teams at AlphaSense who deal with different financial content types, and there are like so the content types can be news, financial news, or broker research. So it's like research from the banks. And then there are like call transcripts and so on. And so these content teams help me to annotate documents. And then what I was working on a machine learning algorithm for relevancy based on user clicks. And with Quepid, I was able to prove that my algorithm gave a little bit of improvement in the ranking. And I also happened to contribute some code to Quepid. It's written in Ruby on the backend side, and on front-end side, it's written in Angular.js. So I mostly focused on the backend part and contributed a few lines. So it's a great tool to, very open to contributions. So it's you can find it on GitHub. In fact, I can maybe show you GitHub.
So did you have to do all this manually, or could you also just could you just give like a file of the relevant documents or something, automatic, like a batch or something, and teaching it? Or do you have
Yes, absolutely. Actually, in fact, so you're asking about Quepid itself, or about relevancy algo that I was working on?
No, the Quepid. Now you had to click through a lot of things, but if you have data in some other form, in some files.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great question. So in fact, it allows you to import things, and you can like import them in CSV format, like query, doc ID, and rating. So doc ID must match the same value that you have in Solr or Elasticsearch, and then the query is what I was typing here. And then the rating, you can choose, what I created here is called judgment list. And so this is a judgment list. And you can choose a different scale for your values. It can be from 0 to 4, which is kind of like a traditional in the industry, or it can be from 0 to 10. It's up to you. It's up to your annotators as well. And then there are some other formats. One of them is learning to rank. So it's like compatible with the format that I need for learning to rank. And then I can, you know, interact with Quepid back and forth between my learning to rank code and format that I'm using, and then the Quepid, and I can go back and forth, and like I can rate my documents using learning to rank, upload them here, and then share. I can actually share a case with a person or actually a team. I have to create a team, and then I can share, and then they can independently review the results. So that's the better process than sending Excel files back and forth. So that's more structured way. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? I think Dima has to go now to hear something by Martina. These search engines you worked on probably aim to English-speaking users, question mark.
So these search engines like Apache Solr and Elasticsearch, they support virtually any language on the planet, except maybe low resource languages. And you can also implement tokenizers in the interfaces that are provided, and then you can basically plug them in. But rest assured, there is a lot of languages already supported, so it's not only English. Yeah, right now, in the company that Martina, Spanish, Espanol, and if I type, yeah, you can see that I typed my query in Spanish, and it returns me this same like results for Spanish speaking users, and the interface is also in Spanish, of course, so I can like filter. Yes, so this is done with Elasticsearch on the back end. Cool. Any more questions? Maybe last question I can take, and if you have more questions, you can reach out to me. But is there any more questions?
Okay, final question by someone.
Yes.
I don't see any questions here. I wonder what the video became like, because I have such a bad connection. I was thrown out like 5 times. So I wonder what happened to the recording in during those times, but we'll see.
Okay. But yeah, thank you for your cooperation. We studied a few movies and we improved relevancy today. That was cool. And thanks for your questions as well.
Thank you very much, Dima, for taking your time.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
I'll stop recording now.